Oftentimes we hear a whole lot about the abuser. We hear a lot about the perpetrator. We don't hear enough about who this woman was, and she deserves to be spoken about. She deserves to be seen. She deserved to live. Okay, this brings me no joy to share this news. It's breaking as of about an hour ago. It just hit my phone that the ex-lieutenant governor of Virginia and his wife are gone. Can you guess why? Once again, femicide, murder-suicide. The ex-lieutenant governor, let me make sure I say this correctly, Justin Fairfax, killed his wife this morning, and then he turned the gun on himself as well. At their home, while going through a messy divorce, and their teenage children were home. This is the height of selfishness. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to come from the angle of giving the perpetrator any grace. So if you are here as someone who is a apologist for domestic abusers, you might as well go ahead and get up off my stuff right now, because this ain't the place for you. So who was Dr. Cerina Fairfax? She had a DDS based in Fairfax, Virginia. She was the wife of Justin Fairfax. She operated Dr. Fairfax and Associates Family Dentistry. She graduated from VCU Medical College of Virginia. She also had her degree and her success before she got married. I would take some liberties as to say that this accomplished woman of color, can't really tell if she's black or not, but let's say she is, but I'm not too sure. This is just me grabbing information really quickly to put this video out, because this is something that's just really, really dear to my heart as a survivor and as someone that my kids would have been celebrating my angelversary of about 7-8 years this year. So this is something really dear to me. But anyway, back to her. She was a woman who deserved to live, first of all, but she was an accomplished woman of color, obviously. And I would venture to say that this man's success could be owed to her as well as a lot of men. You'll hear the story. You've heard the overused phrase that behind every successful man is also a woman, beside, quietly leading from the front sometimes too, but giving the man all the glory. I wanted to highlight that because oftentimes we hear a whole lot about the abuser. We hear a lot about the perpetrator. We don't hear enough about who this woman was, and she deserves to be spoken about. She deserves to be seen. She deserves to live, deserves to have her name said. Say her name is for these women. Say her name is for Black women. Why? Because roughly every 4 to 5 hours, another Black woman across all socioeconomic lines, another one is a victim of femicide and Black femicide. And there is a difference, which is why we have Say Her Name for Black woman, which is why a lot of us center Black women. Yes, all women are victims of this, but like a lot of things in this country, Black women and girls are murdered at a very disproportionate rate, nearly 3 times higher than white women. And here again, even at this level of success and at this level of income, here we have it again. So please tell me how women are too emotional. Please tell me how men are supposed to be the most logical leaders again, and we're supposed to be safe with them. Again, like I said, this it's so triggering and so hard to continue to see this. Black women's lives matter. She deserved to be here. The height of selfishness is doing this not only to her, but to do this to your children. This man destroyed the lives of everyone in his family while he took himself out. Sure, there can be a conversation about his own mental health. I'm not here to have that conversation. Go do that with someone else. I'm here to center Black women. I'm here to center this issue that has directly affected me, directly affected several friends. You know, what's interesting? Just yesterday, I posted a video about my friend who lost her sister to this type of violence at only 26 years old. And this is the only way that I know how to help bring a semblance of justice to the women who should still be here, and women like myself who survived. So this man has had a history, a long-standing history of abuse toward women, like a lot of people do who rise to influence and power. But the thing is, for whatever reason, the patriarchy will continue to protect them and excuse it, and it only gets worse. There was a woman at a university that he attended who accused him of raping him. Imagine if consequences had been delivered years ago. This woman would still be alive. Once again, in the middle of divorces, this is when you are ready to leave a man, that is when you are the least safe. Once again, they were separated, living together in their home, going through a divorce. And once again, another man decided that if I can't continue to control you, if I cannot control the situation, I'm going to take everybody out. And that is the bottom line of this again. She deserved to be able to move on with her life. And far too many times when you decide that something is toxic, something is not safe for you, and these are decisions that she made. She went and as early as this past January, and that was just several weeks ago, there was another domestic dispute where, and the reason why I feel confident in calling this person a narcissistic abuser is because he tried to accuse her of domestic violence, and the evidence showed that that was a lie. And that is something that a lot of men will do, which is reactive abuse, which is trying to flip the script, which is trying to destroy you. And sure, I'm taking a little bit of creative liberties, but a lot of this goes back to the same story. The tale as old as time, that when you decide that you are done with being abused, with being controlled by someone, that they will try to destroy you for it. And if you remove control from these people, and this is someone who has had a history of abuse, this is someone who's had a history and been accused by several women, you go back and look that up yourself. When you decide to take the power back, when you decide to reclaim your sovereignty and move on from these type of men, you are not safe. And a lot of times there is not enough, there's not enough covering for you, especially when you're dealing with people in a position of power. Oftentimes you are not protected enough. There's not enough refuge for you, and there wasn't the refuge for this woman that she needed. If they were still living together, that says that there probably wasn't enough safe spaces for her to go to quickly. I can't say it enough that when you decide to move on with your life, you deserve to live, and you don't know what these men are capable of when you take their power away, especially when they have power in other areas, but they don't have power at home. That can make them extremely violent, because how dare you? Please let this be a cautionary tale for you women that are still in situations and still in close proximity with a man that has been controlling in any kind of way. Myself, I've been there, and I've seen and I've experienced firsthand, and I will wear the scars, unfortunately, for the rest of my life. Unless I don't even know if there's surgery that can remove it, from taking the power back from a man, from more than one man, and one of them trying to take me out of this world and causing long-term damage to my body. Another one causing long-term psychological damage by pulling a gun on me because he was a police officer. And this again, the story is the same. It is the same, and it's multiplied when it comes to Black women, because we aren't protected and we aren't respected enough, even at home within our communities. Here it is again. When you decide to take the power back, do everything you can to put as much distance between you and that abuser, because oftentimes that is when they are going to be the most unpredictable. And that is when you have to assume the worst, because the worst is what a lot of them will go to. May this woman rest in peace. May her blood be avenged. May her children be supported through this. It was so unfair. It was so toxic. It was so selfish to do this. I don't have any more words. I will not shut up. I wasn't able to get justice, so the only semblance of justice I can, the only justice that I know how to get for survivors like myself and for people who should still be here to be able to move on and have the life that they deserve, the life that this woman worked so hard to build for herself and her children, and even for this man, is to speak, is to use my voice to continue to talk about how Black women matter, to talk about how these things need to stop, how there needs to be more protection in place, there needs to be stronger laws, there needs to be stronger consequences and swift ones. When a man has a history of violence, it needs to be taken seriously so that they don't ever have the chance to continue to escalate and get to this point. All right. Okay, I thought I was done with this, but I'm not. And another thing, when it comes to protecting children, this is why that matters. This is why protective mothers need to be listened to. They need to be supported. They need to be believed. And they need to have options for them and the children. Again, I'm not blaming this woman at all. The conversation is so much bigger than what just happened. Oftentimes, there may not be enough emotional, mental, and physical refuge for women when they're going through this transition, for them to get out safely, for them to get out and protect their children and not have to suffer consequences from the court. That should never even be on the table. Ask me how I know. Because I was threatened for being a protective mother. You should never have to think twice about doing everything you can to protect you and your children from what these children will have to carry for the rest of their lives. You know, there will be some people who will say, well, at least he didn't hurt his children. At least he didn't take them out. But yes, he did. Yes, he did. And yes, men like this who may not have, turned the gun on their children, they still killed a part of those kids. They took a part of their kids that can never get taken back. They're going to have to deal with this for the rest of their lives. They did hurt their children. Even if it's a man that never laid hands on their children, that does not mean that they did not subject them to abuse. First of all, if you are abusing their mother, you are abusing the children. There needs to be more accountability for that as well. And when a mother decides to protect her children, she needs to be validated. She needs to be supported, because nobody knows that situation better than the mother and the woman and the wife or the girlfriend who is living in it. We need to believe women. We need to protect them. We need to give them options. When it comes to their lives, when it comes to our lives, when it comes to our children's lives, it should not be reactive measures that happens afterwards. Our children are not test tube babies. They're not experiments. Well, let's see if the father can be caught abusing the children before we remove them, or before we put some sort of some other protective filters in place where it's supervised visitation or things like that. That needs to happen first. There needs to be a big change. And if you're one of those people that are, I don't know what they're called, on the right or right wing or whatever, and you support a lot of these laws that are really abusive and controlling to women's body for the sake of preserving humanity and for the sake of protecting and preserving human life, then actually these are the places that you start. Because we're the ones that bring and continue life on this planet. So if you really cared about life, then you would care about women, and you would care about children, and you would care about more preventative measures so that this doesn't happen. And we can take it back a step further, because where did life truly begin? With our Black skin. Protect it. Listen to it. It should not be that what's happening to us happens 3 to 4 times. You want to protect life? Go to the source. Go to the original source. One being women, two being Black women. Protect us. Protect our children. Listen to us. Validate us. Give the options. Don't take away the options. Don't try to put a woman in jail and threaten her well-being for doing what she knows in her spirit and in her logic is right to prevent these things from happening. Because what happens when you don't listen to us? All right, I'm gonna leave that right there this time.
Yeah. This is for the women who built it anyway. No permission, no apology. I've been quiet, I've been watching. Let them talk, I keep it polished. Single mama, still exotic. Pressure made me this iconic. I don't chase, I align. Every loss was divine. I don't beg, I decide. Handle mine every time. I set the tone when I enter. Peace is the prize I protect. If it don't serve, I release it. Boundaries sharp, but they gentle. I'm rooted, rebuild this, reclaim. Still rising, still sane. I speak the room, rearrange. This is power with a name. Darling Nikki, remember, I don't break, I transcend. Every scar got a lesson. Every loss made a legend. Darling Nikki, remember, I don't break, I transcend. Every scar got a lesson. Every loss made a legend. That's darling Nikki.